Hello everyone, my name is Missy and welcome back to my channel. In today's card making video, I'm going to be teaching you different tips and tricks for inking. I'll be adding some foil to this card that's going to be no heat required. If you're a new subscriber to my channel, don't forget to go back through and check out those hacks, tricks, and organization on my channel. Those videos are so helpful and you're gonna love them. My setup here is my Make Art Station, and this is a magnetic sheet right here that I love to keep on top of my scrapbook.com silicone mat. I love all of this for inking and holding down projects as well, depending upon what techniques that I'm using. And underneath of this Make Art Station, I have the Tim Holtz grip mat, just a tiny piece of it to be able to hold it in place so it doesn't slip and slide around on my work surface. I have a piece of Hammermill Cardstock cut to 3.5 by 4 3/4. Beautiful embossing folder by Spellbinders. It's got two sides, the raised side and the flat side, and I want the flat side of the embossing folder. Tumbled glass distress ink, and I'm just going to go over it just like this, very lightly. This sprayer right here produces a very fine mist, and I'm just going to lightly mist this folder on the inked side. I have my piece of cardstock right here, and wherever I want my design to be, I'm just going to lay that right down and close the embossing folder on it. I don't want that to move. And then I am going to run this through my Big Shot Foldaway machine. Look how beautiful that coloring is. You don't get any thick blotches or anything. I really love the fine mist sprayers, and as long as you're holding it far away and misting, you're going to get this very subtle, just light, beautiful coloring on that cardstock. And I just love how it settles into the little creases. It's just so beautiful. And I love cleaning up my embossing folders with these eco cloths because they're way thicker than a stamp chamois, and it takes the place of a paper towel in your craft room. They're amazing. Butterfly Impresslit is what I'm going to be using. Shaded lilac. So I'm just laying down my color on here pretty thickly and just swiping it up onto my brush, and then really applying the color to the insides of the wings. I'm not doing the outer portion yet, just the inside. Gonna wipe this up. The beautiful Villainous Potion. This has to be one of my favorite purple colors in the Distress ink line, and we're just gonna look how bright that is. This was a lighter color. I'm not even gonna rinse out my brush yet. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick that up, and I'm gonna put the Villainous Potion on the very outer portion of the wings, just right in there. Just kind of apply it thickly. I had cleaned off my whole desk area, and then Butters got up here. And I'm sure I have some stray kitty hairs around here. And by the way, my kitties literally just turned a year old. I cannot believe they just had a birthday. I'm going to use this to rinse out my brush. I love this because I don't have to run all the way across my house to my sink to be able to rinse out my brushes. I literally can just rinse my brush right in here, clean it all out, no dirty water, because when it comes to my brushes, I want clean water for my brush every time. I don't want to have a cup of dirty water and be rinsing my brush in it. I just don't like that. So this allows me to have fresh water every single time. So you can just flush the dirty water away. It's perfect. See, my brush is perfectly clean. and then I just brush it off on my Eco Cloth. This is super simple. It's like having a tiny sink in my craft room. Best little gadget ever. It's perfect for little brushes, and I even kind of clean my smaller makeup brushes in here. I have the shaded lilac toward the inner portion of the butterfly, the Villainous Potion on the outside. I have not colored the center part. You can do whatever colors you want. Let your imagination run wild. That's the beauty of crafting. Go crazy with it. I have all my colors on the way I want it. I'm going to take my mister and I'm going to just lightly spray. I'm going to take my piece of cardstock and I'm just going to lay this down, and I'm going to run this through the Big Shot Foldaway. Black Soot Distress ink. I'm going to put it up here in the corner. I'm going to dampen it with my fine mist. I'm just going to go in and pick up some of the color. And you can keep this as dark or light. If you want it a darker shade, just keep going over it. I love that it's misted with water, and it gives you the ability to make the colors as dark or as light as you want them. The lines and markings that I'm doing on the wings, I spritzed this the ink with my mister to make it a little more watery, and then I can just dip my paintbrush in here and then go along the different sections of the wings and just add in my color. And once the colors all come together, it's just so pretty how that all just blends. My brush daubers, and I am just going to pick one out, and I'm going to do Villainous Potion. So what this does is you get the watered down effect with this, but now just highlight the edges and places that you want, because what it does, it just gives that vibrance around the edges, and it's just really, really pretty. Just look, by adding those highlights around the edges, how gorgeous and such a change that makes. I already have my A2 size card base ready to go, so I've had that, and then I have another card layer that is just slightly bigger than the one that I have. I'm going to add my glue to the back, and if you're having trouble with your cards warping when you add wet glue, I highly suggest the Beacon Fabri-Tac, and I'll have everything, all the card making supplies that I use, in the description of the video. But this glue is amazing, and it will keep you from having warped cards. It just lays so beautifully. It's not too wet, it's not too dry. It's literally the perfect glue. I just went to check on Butters, and he is sound asleep in my chair. He is so precious, and you can see how big he has gotten. Right now, Shorty's making her appearance on camera. Say hi, Shorty. Look at his beautiful eyes. You're so precious. I've got a funny story with my brush cleaner, because my cats, I left this, I had a little bit of water, and I keep my cats in my craft room, and I kept a little bit of water left in this, and it's clean water right here in the top, because you can always rinse your brush clean. The dirty water falls into the reservoir, but my cats at night drank all of the water out of my brush cleaner, because every time that this is emptied or the water's coming out of it, it puts fresh water up here. So the cats was using it basically as a water dish, and they literally like drank it dry. Aleen's Tack It over and over, and I just put a little here. I'm going to go over the edges. So I'm just gonna put down, I think right in here, and I'm just gonna go like this and lay down a little bit of glue. Pick up some more, lay it down, and just put it right here on the edge. And I'm just going to make sure that I get it coated well to the other side. And I'm going to do the same thing. I seriously love this thing so much. It saves me so much time from running through my house cleaning out my brushes. Our glue is dry. I have the Ranger foil sheets. You can see along the edge where I put my glue. And I'm just going to lay this along here and place it down just like that and rub. You're just going to rub it in. Peel it back and reveal the beautiful foiling. Just like, see how pretty that is? It adds just such a pretty touch to any card. On the other side, I'm just going to lay my foil down and do the same thing. And then peel that back. And look how pretty. And Miss Shorty is having a sleep in the bay window. Oh, you're tired, baby. Now, since that beautiful foiling is on, I am going to add glue to the back of this card layer, and I'm going to go ahead and attach it to my card base. I'm adding glue to the back of my butterfly wings so I can go ahead and adhere this to my card. Adhere it just like that, and you can see how I have that overhang. And I'm going to just slice that little bit of overhang off. If you get glue or anything on these, it's going to wipe right off. These scissors just clean up so beautifully. Gorgeous butterfly die, and it does have the little embossing marks in it. Scrap piece of my cardstock, because anytime I can use my scraps, I want to. It doesn't have to fit because I'm just going to be using this lower portion of the dot. I have my magic mat on here, and I'm going to be running this through my Big Shot Foldaway. And I do have the Big Shot Switch Plus machine, and I love that, but it's hard for me to cut on camera with that machine, so I thought I would get something little and portable. And the handle on this is so easy to use. It just cuts beautifully. It folds up to nothing. So if you're looking for a tiny cutting machine that folds up to nothing, this literally ends up being about the same size as the Gemini Midi. So if you have the Gemini Midi, or if you have seen that, it's the same size. This thing literally takes up no room at all. It's actually really easy on the hands to crank. It's really upgraded. This hand crank system, I love this. It's totally different than my other Sizzix machine that I have, my Big Kick. They definitely took a lot of care into making this machine. And once I've popped it out of my die, this is what I'm left with. And now I want from, I think, here down. So I'm just gonna snip it right here with my snips. And once you've used a pair of snips like this, you will hate using regular scissors. These are my favorite. They're easy on the hands. They're so practical to use. Now I'm going in with the Villainous Potion. Streak this right down. Just like this. And you can make this as dark or as light as you want, but when you move this along, you can see how it's making these streaked lines. And that's what we want. And now I'm going to turn over. You see this? The good side goes down, just like that. And then I'm going to take my handy dandy Tim Holtz roller, the brayer, and now I'm just going to brayer this down just like that. And now I'm going to lift it up, and look at how cool that effect is. I'm gonna wipe this all up because I am a super neat crafter. I don't know how many of you are the same way. I just have to keep my workspace clean at all times. It's freer for my mind, and I can craft with ease when my space is clean. I can't craft in clutter. That's just me. I've already added my glue to the back of the piece. And now I'm just going to add this to my card. And I'm just gonna let this little piece right here overhang just a little bit. And then I'm gonna cut that piece off and just snip off that little edge. I'm gonna be using the Thinking of You from this stamp set. You get so many sentiments in this that it's such a great stamp set to have a part of your stash. I'm picking this up, and I'm going to be stamping this out with my Gina K Designs amalgam ink in the color Obsidian. This is such a wonderful ink, one of my favorite black inks to stamp sentiments with. So crisp and so nice. I'm just going to wipe down my stamp. I'm just going to stick a piece of paper right here because I don't want to get powder on my mat, so I'm just going to lightly put some powder on this with the Versamark watermark and just going to dab that over top. And this is going to make this very sticky. And now I'm going to peel this off of here, and I'm going to set this off to the side. And I have my Sparkling Sea embossing powder. You can see how pretty that is. And I actually lost my embossing powder tray. I do not know where it's at. So I will be searching my craft room for that because I don't know what I did with it. I really wish I did know where my embossing tray was because that just makes things so much easier. I have my embossing station ready, and I'm just going to switch on my heat gun, let it heat up a little bit, and then I'm ready to emboss this. With the toaster tongs, you don't have to worry about getting burnt, but I wish you could see the sparkle because this is so pretty. I finished cutting out my sentiment, and I inked the edges in Villainous Potion, and look at all those beautiful inking techniques along with the foil. It's just so gorgeous and so easy to create. Anyone can do this. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and go check out the other fun tips, tricks, and hacks on my channel. The organization, you're going to have so much fun going through all those videos, and it's really going to help you. Don't forget to leave me a comment below and leave a like. It really helps out my channel, and I can't wait to share more tips and tricks in my next video. Love you all. Bye-bye. There's Miss Shorty. She's relaxing in my craft room. And let's see if we can get a shot of the beans. Butters, you're hiding from Mommy.